Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and the next kind of episode of the CB550 project. This will be part 6, I believe. Last time I welded in these mounts for the seat and kind of got those going. When I ended that video, I had a little bit of an issue with the seat being tweaked like a 1/4 of an inch to the left side, and I just today actually figured out why. This bracket right here, when I tacked it in, got shifted over a little bit, and that's what was throwing the alignment of the seat off. So instead of having to do little tabs in here, I noticed that, so I ended up just cutting it off, cutting the welds off, moving it actually square, welding it back in, and now the seat fits much better. So that part's done. So now I'm going to start to work on the actual electronics tray. I threw together this little template, in literally maybe 2 minutes, just to kind of get me a general idea of what I'm looking at here. So I'm going to make it a little bit longer than this, which I mentioned in a previous video, probably right to that back kind of vertical bar there. But that is about how far it's going to go down, so that I have enough room to fit all the solenoids and fuses and of course the battery and everything else. So that's kind of what it's looking like now. I'm going to throw the carbs on and then at least one of the center pod filters, so I can make sure that this isn't too far forward, that it interferes. If I remember correctly, the pod filters go right about to this bar. So if I start kind of right behind the bar, I should have enough room. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw it all together just to make sure before I actually start to work on anything. I don't have a metal brake, so I'm going to have to go kind of a weird way to build this box, and I'm going to have to cut out each one of these pieces individually and weld it together. I may try to make this whole middle section out of one piece and then just bend it in my vise, but I've had kind of mixed results on whether or not that's actually worked out well. So it'll definitely be a learning experience. I've never made one of these before, but I'm just going to make kind of a general template. I may have to go through a couple to get one that's exactly what I want. Then we're going to cut out the metal and either bend it or just start to weld it together, or we'll kind of figure that out as we go. But I have this big sheet right here of, I believe this is 16 gauge. Yeah, 16 gauge. This is what I'm going to make it out of. So yeah, I'll bring you guys back when I get a little bit farther into the kind of mock-up process, and we have a good starting point. This is how far I've gotten. I have the floor and then 2 walls in the back of the box made. And you can kind of see what the fit looks like. So what I did is just kind of cut out different pieces of cardboard just to get the exact measurements or kind of layout that I wanted, and then ended up transferring that to the metal, cutting it out with a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade, obviously. And then tack welding it together. So this is kind of what it's looking like right now. Obviously I haven't finished welded anything, but it's coming along nicely. I think I'm going to have plenty of room for the battery. The battery can stand vertically in the back because it's about 3 or 3.5 inches tall. So we're going to have plenty of room there, and then made sure I had plenty of clearance around the pod filter. So we're going to be good there too. What I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to do yet, but I probably will do, is I'm going to actually put a push button start on this box, because the one that came with the bike, the stock one, the actual button itself is damaged. So instead of replacing that with just another bulky stock, kill switch and start button, I'm going to just wire them into here, so it'll be nice and clean. So there'll be a little on-off kill switch and then a little push button start that'll run directly to the starter solenoid. I'll probably put it on that side over there, just so if I need to give it a little bit of throttle while starting it, I can kind of hit the button with my left hand and then obviously twist the throttle with the right hand. But that's kind of what we're looking like right now. So it's coming along pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it, considering I didn't have any kind of bender or anything. I've never actually built anything like this out of sheet metal before. So I think it looks pretty darn good. So I'll bring you guys back whenever I get a little bit farther along in the process. I think I'm going to call it a day for now. But yeah, I'll come back and let you guys know what I decided to do with the front. And then I'm going back and forth of how I want to mount it. I don't think I'm going to mount it permanently. I just kind of like the idea of being able to remove it. So what I'm probably going to do is just do a little 90-degree bracket off of the back and then another one off of the front, and just mount, you know, 2 bolts through the front, 2 bolts through the back into this bar. And that'll be 4 bolts, and with it being thick enough metal, it'll be plenty sturdy. That way, if I want to, you know, change up the design or replace it or whatever down the road, I can just unbolt it and take it out, as opposed to having to cut out welds and all that kind of stuff. So that's the update for now, and I'll bring you guys back when I make a little bit more progress. I got the box pretty much finalized. I haven't totally finished welded everything, but this is kind of what I've got going here. So I took all of the 16 gauge metal. I made a little template out of cardboard. This is right here. So I just made kind of a little template just so I can get the angles I wanted and length and all that kind of stuff. Cut each piece out, and then welded it all together. So you can see, since I don't have a bender, I had to kind of do each panel and then just, you know, make sure, use my magnet, make sure it's at a 90, weld it, and then kind of stitch weld it around so I don't get any warpage or anything. And this is kind of what I'm looking at for mounts. I obviously haven't finished welded those or anything yet, but I just bent 2 tabs off the back of it and then drilled 2 more holes in this support bracket here to run 2 bolts through. And in the front, I'm going to drill holes through right here into this plate, finish welding those around too, so I can have 2 bolts up here and then 2 bolts back there, which will be you know, way more than enough for holding it in. So it's gonna work out really well. All the electronics are gonna fit in there nicely. It's gonna be a bit of a headache trying to get all the rat's nest of wires kind of organized and stuff, so it's not just kind of all jammed in there. I didn't put a front on it for 2 reasons. One, it's kind of hard to get all of the wires and everything through anyway, so I was gonna have to have like a pretty large hole in the front. So I figured I might as well leave it open, and it can kind of get some airflow in through there and then out through the kind of opening in the back, and it'll get some air through there, so, you know, if any of it gets kind of hot or anything, it can somewhat cool off. It's not going to be 100% sealed. So I figure I'll leave it like that. If I end up having issues down the road, I can add a, you know, a front panel to it, but I honestly think it'll be kind of just fine the way it is. So this is what it's looking like. Of course, it's all going to be painted black. I think it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. Once it's black, it'll kind of disappear a little bit, and I'll still be able to kind of get that skeleton effect of, you know, being nice and clean and not having a whole bunch of stuff kind of jumbled under the seat. So it'll look pretty clean. So yeah, I'm just going to finish weld that, and that part should be good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. Come back for the next section, which is probably going to be either getting all of that electronics kind of situated in there, or it's about time to start working on the tank. So get some paint stripper and kind of knock that down, figure out what color I want to do, and go from there. But you know, if you like the series, make sure to subscribe and like the video, and of course let me know if you guys have any questions about anything. Thanks for watching. Bye.